The fluorescent lights in the Community Hope Center flicker again, and I make a mental note to call the landlord for the third time this week. Not that Mr. Chen will actually fix anything. He's made it clear he'd rather we vacate so he can sell to developers, but I have to try. The center is all some of these kids have. I'm wiping down the art table, scrubbing dried tempera paint from the scarred wood surface, when I hear it. That sound that's become achingly familiar over the past 2 weeks. Soft crying from the supply closet. My heart clenches. Lily. I set down my rag and move quietly toward the closet, my sneakers silent on the worn linoleum. The door is cracked open just enough for me to see her, a tiny figure curled in the corner, between boxes of construction paper and bins of donated crayons, her dark hair falling forward to hide her face. Lily? I keep my voice gentle, unthreatening. Sweetheart, it's just me, Emma. The crying stops abruptly. I can see her small shoulders, tense, her body going rigid the way it does whenever an adult male voice carries through the center. She's terrified of men. This little girl who appeared in my after-school program 2 weeks ago with no enrollment forms, no emergency contacts, no last name that anyone will tell me. Just Lily. 7 years old. Scared of her own shadow. Can I come in? I ask, though I'm already easing the door open wider. If you're enjoying this story so far, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Drop a comment telling me where in the world you're watching from. I love hearing from you. She nods, barely, and I slip inside, closing the door behind us. The closet smells like crayons and old paper, oddly comforting. I sink down beside her, leaving space between us because Lily needs space the way some people need air. Rough day? I ask. She finally looks up at me, and my chest tightens at the sight of those huge brown eyes swimming with tears. There's a fresh bruise on her cheek, yellowish green, fading but still visible. When I asked about it last week, she'd mumbled something about falling off the monkey bars. We both knew it was a lie. I heard them talking. She whispers, her voice so small I have to lean closer to catch the words. Mrs. Rodriguez, and that man in the suit. They said I can't stay here anymore. That they're going to send me away. My stomach drops. Mrs. Rodriguez runs the emergency foster placement program, and she's been coming around more frequently, asking questions about Lily that I can't answer because I don't know the answers. Where did she come from? Who brought her here? Why won't she talk about her family? No one's sending you anywhere, I tell her, surprised by the fierce protectiveness in my own voice. I won't let them. It's a promise I have no authority to make. I'm 26 years old, barely scraping by on my community center salary, living in a studio apartment in Riverside with water stains on the ceiling and neighbors who blast music until 3 a.m. I have $73 in my checking account until payday next Friday. I eat ramen 4 nights a week. I am in no position to protect anyone. But when Lily's small hand finds mine and squeezes with desperate trust, I know I'll find a way or die trying. Come on, I say softly. Let's get you cleaned up. The other kids are gone, but I saved you some of the pizza from lunch. She follows me out of the closet, her hand still gripping mine like I'm her lifeline to safety. We pass through the main room, a space that was probably cheerful once, with its motivational posters and colorful bulletin boards, but now just looks tired and worn like everything else in this neighborhood. Through the windows, I can see the Chicago skyline in the distance, glittering towers that might as well exist on another planet for all the relevance they have to our lives here in Riverside. In the small kitchen, I heat up 2 slices of pizza in our ancient microwave while Lily sits at the table, swinging her legs, still too small for her feet to touch the floor. She's wearing the same clothes she had on yesterday, purple leggings and a t-shirt with a unicorn that's seen better days. I've been washing them in the center's bathroom sink every other night, letting them dry on the radiator. Emma? Her voice is hesitant. Yeah, sweetie. Do you think he's still looking for me? It's the first time she's referenced a specific person, and I try to keep my face neutral even as questions explode in my mind. Who's looking for you? She drops her gaze to the table. Nobody. Never mind. The microwave beeps. I pull out the pizza, test it with my finger to make sure it's not too hot, and set it in front of her. She eats mechanically, without enthusiasm, and I wonder when the last time was that this child felt safe enough to actually enjoy food. My phone buzzes. A text from my roommate Jess. Landlord called. Rent's late again. He's threatening. Eviction. I close my eyes briefly. The rent was due 3 days ago. I'd paid what I could, 300 of the 800 we owe, and promised the rest by Monday. But Monday is 4 days away, and I've already picked up every extra shift I can at the diner where I waitress on weekends. Emma, you okay? I open my eyes to find Lily watching me with concern that no 7-year-old should have to feel for an adult. I paste on a smile. I'm fine, honey. Just tired. She nods like she understands, and maybe she does. This child has old eyes, ancient really, like she's seen things that have aged her soul beyond her years. We're cleaning up when I hear the front door open. My body goes tense. We're supposed to be closed. I locked that door myself 20 minutes ago, and I position myself between Lily and the kitchen entrance. Hello? I call out, trying to keep my voice steady. We're closed for the evening. Footsteps, heavy and measured, coming closer. More than one person. Lily's hand finds the back of my shirt, fisting in the fabric, and I can feel her trembling against me. 3 men appear in the doorway. The first thing I notice is their suits. Not the cheap, off-the-rack kind, but the kind that probably cost more than I make in 6 months. Perfectly tailored, dark fabric that seems to absorb light. The second thing I notice is their posture, alert, controlled, dangerous. The third thing I notice is the man in the center. He's tall, maybe 6'2" or 6'3", with broad shoulders that strain slightly against his suit jacket despite its custom fit. Dark hair swept back from a face that's all sharp angles and hard lines, except for his mouth, which is surprisingly full, almost sensual. But it's his eyes that freeze me in place, dark brown, nearly black, and so intense I feel like he's looking straight through me to catalog every secret I've ever kept. He's maybe 35, definitely not from this neighborhood, and absolutely radiating an authority that makes the air feel thinner. Emma Sinclair? His voice is deep, with the barest hint of an accent I can't place. I swallow hard. Who's asking? One of the men flanking him, shorter, stockier, with a scar running down his left cheek, starts to speak, but the central figure holds up one hand, silencing him without a word. My name is Dante Caruso. He says it like I should recognize it, and something about the name does tickle at the edges of my memory. Something I've heard in whispers, in warnings. I'm looking for someone, a little girl. Behind me, Lily's breathing has gone shallow and rapid. Her grip on my shirt tightens to the point of pain. I work with lots of children, I say carefully. This is a community center. We run after-school programs. I'm looking for one specific child. He takes a step forward, and I instinctively shift to block his view of Lily more completely. Something flashes in his eyes. Recognition? Calculation? Her name is Liliana. 7 years old, dark hair, brown eyes. She's been missing for 3 weeks. My heart hammers against my ribs. Liliana, Lily. Behind me, the child in question has gone perfectly still, no longer trembling, barely breathing. I haven't seen anyone matching that description. I lie, and it's a terrible lie, transparent as glass. Dante Caruso's jaw tightens. Miss Sinclair, I don't think you understand the situation. I understand that you've broken into a closed community center and are interrogating me about a child. I lift my chin, projecting a confidence I absolutely do not feel. I think you should leave. The scarred man laughs, a harsh bark of sound. You think you can, Marco? One word from Dante Caruso, sharp as a blade, and Marco goes silent. Dante's attention returns to me, and the weight of his gaze is almost physical. 3 weeks ago, my daughter was taken from her school. The men who took her are dead now. He says it so casually, like he's commenting on the weather. But before they died, they told me where they'd hidden her. They told me about a woman at the Community Hope Center who's been protecting her. Oh God. Oh God. I don't know what you're talking about. I manage, but my voice wavers. Step aside. It's not a request. No. Something dangerous flashes across his face. The man to his left, tall, with silver threading through his dark hair, moves his hand toward his jacket, and I realize with cold terror that he's reaching for a gun. That's when Lily bolts. She darts out from behind me with a speed born of pure panic, heading for the back door. But she's small and terrified, and her coordination fails her. She crashes into a chair, sending it clattering to the floor, and goes down hard on her hands and knees. Lily! I'm moving before I think, dropping to my knees beside her. She's sobbing now, great gasping sobs that shake her whole body, and when I try to gather her into my arms, she fights me with surprising strength. No, no, please don't let him take me. Please, Emma, please. She's screaming now, hysterical. I'll be good, I promise I'll be good. Just don't let him take me. My heart is breaking. I wrap my arms around her struggling form, pulling her against my chest, and she finally collapses into me, her sobs muffled against my shoulder. Shh, baby, it's okay, I murmur, rocking her. It's okay, I've got you. I look up to find Dante Caruso frozen in the doorway, his face drained of color. He's staring at Lily, at his daughter, with an expression of such raw anguish that it strikes me like a physical blow. Liliana. His voice cracks on the name. Liliana, Tesoro, it's Papa. No, Lily screams, burrowing deeper into my arms. You're not my Papa. Papa wouldn't let them hurt me. Papa wouldn't let them take me. I watch understanding dawn on Dante's face, followed by something that looks like pure devastation. He takes one shaky step forward, then another, and drops to his knees a few feet away from us. Baby, I know you're scared. His voice is gentle now, stripped of all authority, just a father trying to reach his terrified child. I know what they did to you, but I'm here now. I've been looking for you every single day, every single hour. I haven't slept. I haven't stopped. I would burn this entire city to the ground to find you. Lily's sobbing has quieted to hiccuping breaths, but she won't look at him. Dante's hands are shaking. This powerful, dangerous man is shaking like a leaf. I'm so sorry, Liliana. I'm so sorry I couldn't protect you. I'm sorry I didn't get to you faster. But I'm here now, and no one will ever hurt you again. I swear it on my life. Something in his voice, the crack of genuine emotion, makes Lily finally turn her head. She peers at him from the safety of my arms, her eyes red and swollen. Papa. Her voice is so small, so tentative. Yes, baby. It's me. Tears are streaming down Dante's face now, and he doesn't bother to wipe them away. It's Papa, they said. They said you didn't want me anymore. That you sold me. No. The word is fierce, absolute. Never. You are everything to me. Everything. They lied to you, Tesoro. They lied. Lily's small body trembles in my arms, torn between terror and desperate hope. I look at Dante Caruso, this man I've spent the last 2 minutes convinced was a threat, and see nothing but a father's love and a father's pain. Lily, I say softly, do you want to go to him? She doesn't answer with words. Instead, she slowly, hesitantly reaches one hand toward Dante. He responds immediately, closing the distance between them in one fluid movement, gathering his daughter into his arms with infinite care, as if she's made of spun glass. She clings to him, her small arms wrapped around his neck, and he buries his face in her hair, his shoulders shaking with silent sobs. I should look away. This moment is too private, too raw. But I can't. I'm frozen there on the floor, watching this reunion, tears streaming down, are my own face. Marco and the other man, I'll later learn his name is Vincent, have turned away, giving their boss privacy, but I can see the tension in their shoulders, the way they're struggling with their own emotions. I've got you, Dante murmurs into Lily's hair, over and over. I've got you, baby. You're safe now. You're safe. It's several minutes before he lifts his head and looks at me. His eyes are red, his face wet with tears, but there's something new in his expression now, something like wonder. You kept her safe. It's not a question. I nod anyway. For 2 weeks you protected my daughter. You hid her, fed her, cared for her. He's studying me like I'm a puzzle he's trying to solve. Why? Because she needed help, I say simply. Because she was scared and alone, and no child deserves that. You didn't know who she was, who I am. I shake my head. I knew she was in trouble. That was enough. Something shifts in his expression, something I can't quite read. He looks down at Lily, who's pulled back enough to look at his face, touching his cheeks with her small hands, as if confirming he's real. We need to go, sir, Marco says quietly from the doorway. It's not safe to stay in one place too long. Dante nods but doesn't move. Instead, he looks at me again. What's your full name? Emma. Emma Sinclair. Emma Sinclair. He says it slowly, like he's memorizing it. You saved my daughter's life. The men who took her, they were planning to sell her. Do you understand what that means? Horror washes through me. I'd suspected Lily had been in danger, but this. If they'd succeeded, I never would have found her. His voice drops to barely above a whisper. She would have been lost to me forever, but you kept her safe until I could get to her. You risked your own safety to protect a child you didn't know. Anyone would have. No. He cuts me off, firm but not harsh. They wouldn't have. Most people would have called the authorities and washed their hands of it. You didn't. You made yourself a target to keep her safe. I don't know how to respond to that. He's right, I should have called Child Protective Services, should have followed proper procedures. But something in Lily's eyes had told me that the system wouldn't help her, that she needed someone to just keep her safe while she figured out how to trust again. Mr. Caruso, Vincent says, more urgently this time. We really need to move. Dante rises to his feet with Lily still in his arms. She's not letting go, and he doesn't seem inclined to make her, but he doesn't leave. Instead, he pins me with that intense gaze again. I owe you a debt, Emma Sinclair. And I always pay my debts. You don't owe me anything. Just take care of her. Oh, I will. There's steel in his voice now, a promise and a threat all at once. But this isn't over. Someone will be in touch, and then he's moving, striding toward the door with his daughter secure in his arms. Marco and Dee, Vincent falling into formation around them. At the threshold, Dante pauses and looks back at me. Thank you, he says simply, for giving me back my world. Then they're gone, leaving me alone in the kitchen with an overturned chair and the lingering scent of expensive cologne. I sit there on the floor for a long time, trying to process what just happened. Dante Caruso. The name finally clicks into place. Whispered stories I've heard from neighborhood kids about the man who runs half of Chicago, who owns judges and politicians, whose word is law in certain circles. A mafia boss. I just spent 2 weeks hiding the daughter of a mafia boss. My phone buzzes again. Another text from Jess. Emma, seriously, where are you? Landlord is threatening to change the locks tomorrow. I stare at the message, then at the empty doorway where Dante Caruso stood moments ago. This isn't over, he'd said. I have no idea how right he is. I don't sleep that night. I lie in my narrow bed in the studio, apartment I share with Jess, staring at the water-stained ceiling, replaying the scene in the community center over and over. Dante Caruso's face when he saw his daughter. The way Lily had clung to him, terrified and hopeful all at once. The promise in his eyes when he said this wasn't over. At 3 a.m., I give up on sleep and make instant coffee in our tiny kitchenette, trying not to wake Jess, who's snoring softly on her futon across the room. The coffee tastes like battery acid, but the caffeine helps clear the fog in my head. I need to think rationally about this. Dante Caruso knows my name, knows where I work. He probably knows where I live too. Men like him don't leave loose ends, and I'm definitely a loose end. The question is, what does he want from me? He said he owed me a debt. In my experience, debts to dangerous men are more liability than asset. The sun is just starting to rise, painting the sky outside our grimy window in shades of pink and gold, when my phone rings. Unknown number. My hand trembles as I answer. Hello? Miss Sinclair. This is Vincent Castellano. We met last night. The silver-haired man from Dante's security detail. My mouth goes dry. How did you get my number? Mr. Caruso would like to see you this morning. A car will arrive at your address at 9 a.m. I have to work. The community center has been notified that you'll be taking a personal day. Your salary will be covered. His tone suggests this isn't up for negotiation. The car will arrive at 9 a.m. Miss Sinclair, I suggest you be ready. He hangs up before I can respond. I stare at my phone, ice spreading through my veins. He knows where I live. He's already called my work. He's rearranging my life with the casual ease of someone moving chess pieces on a board. Emma? Jess's sleepy voice comes from across the room. Who was that? I turn to find her sitting up, her blonde hair a rat's nest around her face. Jess is my age, a grad student studying social work at Northwestern on a scholarship that barely covers tuition. We've been friends since undergrad, roommates for 3 years, and I've never kept secrets from her. But how do I explain this? It's complicated, I say finally. She rubs her eyes. Is this about the rent? Because I might be able to pick up some extra tutoring sessions. It's not about the rent. I take a deep breath. Remember that little girl I told you about? Lily? The one you've been worried about? The one you think was being abused? Her father found her last night, at the center. Jess's eyes widen. Oh my God, Emma. Did you call the police? Is she okay? It's not that simple. I run my hands through my hair, trying to find words for the impossible situation I've stumbled into. Her father is Dante Caruso. The name doesn't register with Jess immediately. She's not from Chicago, doesn't know the local power structures the way people who grew up here do. Who's that? I pause, choosing my words, carefully. He's a very powerful man, very dangerous, and he wants to see me this morning. Understanding dawns on Jess's face, followed by fear. Emma, what did you get yourself into? I was just trying to help a scared kid, I say helplessly. I didn't know who she was, but you know now. Jess is fully awake now, sitting forward. Emma, if this guy is dangerous, you need to what? Run? Hide? I shake my head. He already knows everything about me. My name, my address, my work. Running would just make things worse. So you're just going to get in a car with his men? When she puts it like that, it sounds insane. But what choice do I have? He's not going to hurt me, I say, trying to convince myself as much as her. I saved his daughter. He said he owed me a debt. And you believe him? I think about the way Dante had looked at Lily, the tears streaming down his face, the absolute devastation in his voice when she'd said she thought he didn't want her anymore. Whatever else he is, he's a father who loves his child. Yeah, I say quietly. I do. At 8:45, I'm dressed in the best outfit I own, black slacks, and a cream blouse that's starting to fray at the collar when there's a knock at the door. I open it to find a woman standing in the hallway, probably mid-40s, with dark hair pulled back in a severe bun and sharp brown eyes that assess me in a single glance. Miss Sinclair? I'm Angela Rossi, Mr. Caruso's assistant. Her voice is crisp, professional. May I come in? I step aside, suddenly conscious of the shabby apartment behind me, the peeling paint, the second-hand furniture, the tiny kitchen with its ancient appliances. If Angela notices or judges, she doesn't show it. Instead, she hands me a garment bag and a shoebox. Mr. Caruso thought you might want to change before the meeting. I stare at the items in my hands. I'm already dressed. Of course. Her smile is polite but firm. These are simply options. The car is waiting downstairs whenever you're ready. She leaves before I can protest further. I look down at the garment bag, then at Jess, who's watching from her futon with wide eyes. Don't, I tell her. I didn't say anything. You were thinking it. I unzip the garment bag to reveal a dress simple, elegant, midnight blue with a modest neckline and hemline that would fall just below my knees. The fabric is silk, impossibly soft under my fingers. The shoebox contains low heels in the same color, and when I check the size, they're exactly my size. Of course they are. Emma, Jess whispers. That dress probably costs more than our rent. She's right. I should be offended by the presumption, by the casual display of wealth, by the implication that my clothes aren't good enough. Instead, I think about showing up to meet Dante Caruso in my fraying blouse and wonder what statement I'm trying to make. That I'm not impressed by his money? That I can't be bought? Or am I just being stubborn for the sake of pride? I change into the dress. It fits perfectly, because, of course it does. The heels are comfortable despite their height, and when I catch my reflection in our full-length mirror, I barely recognize myself. I look polished, professional, like I belong in rooms with people who matter. It's unsettling. Be careful, Jess says as I head for the door. Please. I will. And Jess, if I'm not back by tonight, don't. She cuts me off, her voice sharp with fear. Don't finish that sentence. You'll be back. You have to be. I force a smile I don't feel and leave. The car waiting outside is a black Mercedes with tinted windows. Vincent Castellano stands beside it, his silver hair gleaming in the morning sun. He opens the rear door for me with a slight nod. Miss Sinclair. I slide into the leather interior, catching a whiff of expensive leather and something else cologne. Faint but unmistakable. The same scent that lingered in the community center after Dante left. If you're hooked on this story, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. Your support means everything and helps me bring you more emotional stories like this one. The drive takes us out of Riverside, away from the crumbling buildings and broken streetlights, toward the heart of Chicago. We pass through neighborhoods that gradually become cleaner, wealthier, until we're in an area I've only ever seen on TV, tree-lined streets with historic brownstones, luxury boutiques, restaurants with names I can't pronounce. We pull up to a building that's all glass and steel, modern and imposing. The lobby is marble and chrome, with a security desk manned by men in suits who nod respectfully at Vincent as we pass. The elevator is silent except for the soft hum of machinery. Vincent doesn't speak, doesn't even look at me, and I'm grateful for the quiet. I'm too busy trying to slow my racing heart, trying to prepare myself for whatever comes next. We exit on the top floor, of course it's the top floor, and I follow Vincent down a hallway lined with expensive artwork. He stops at a set of double doors, knocks once, then opens them without waiting for a response. The office beyond is enormous. Floor-to-ceiling windows offer a panoramic view of Chicago, the skyline stretching out in all directions. The furniture is modern but warm leather and dark wood, a massive desk that dominates one end of the room, and a seating area with a low couch and chairs arranged around a coffee table. Dante Caruso stands by the windows, his back to me, talking quietly on his phone. He's wearing charcoal slacks and a white dress shirt with the sleeves rolled up to his elbows, revealing strong forearms. His hair is slightly less perfect than last night, as if he's run his hands through it repeatedly. Vincent clears his throat softly. Dante turns, and when his eyes land on me, something flickers across his face, surprise. Maybe. Or appreciation. His gaze sweeps over me, taking in the dress, and I see the moment he recognizes it as one he provided. "I'll call you back," he says into the phone, then ends the call without waiting for a response. "Miss Sinclair, thank you for coming." As if I had a choice. "Please, sit." He gestures to the seating area, and I move toward it on legs that feel steadier than they have any right to. I choose one of the chairs, placing my purse on the floor beside me. Dante sits on the couch across from me, close enough that I can see the fine lines around his eyes, the shadow of stubble on his jaw. He looks tired, I realize. Exhausted, actually, like he hasn't slept any more than I have. "How's Lily?" The question slips out before I can stop it. Something softens in his expression. "She's adjusting. She had nightmares last night, 3 of them. She only calmed down when I promised her that you were safe, that the men who took her couldn't hurt either of you." The implication is clear. Lily is worried about me. The thought makes my chest tighten. "I'm glad she's home," I say quietly. "Home." He repeats the word like he's testing its weight. She hasn't been home in 3 weeks. The house she knew, the room she slept in, she's terrified of all of it. She thinks they'll come back, that someone will take her again. Will they? His expression hardens. No. The organization that took her has been eliminated. Every member, every affiliate, every person who knew her name. He says it so matter-of-factly, like he's describing filing paperwork rather than wholesale slaughter. They'll never touch her again. I should be horrified. I should be running from this room, from this man who can order deaths as easily as ordering coffee. Instead, I feel relieved that Lily is safe. "You're wondering why I asked you here," Dante says, reading my face with unsettling accuracy. The thought crossed my mind. 3 weeks ago, my daughter was taken from her private school by men working for the Volkov family, a Russian organization that's been trying to establish a foothold in Chicago for years. They thought they could use Liliana as leverage against me, force me to give up territory, to share my operations. He leans forward, resting his elbows on his knees, and the movement brings him closer. I can smell his cologne now, woodsy and expensive, and see the flecks of gold in his dark eyes. I received a video 2 days after she was taken. They had her in a basement somewhere, crying, asking why Papa wasn't coming to save her. They told her I'd sold her to them, that I didn't want her anymore. His hands curl into fists, knuckles going white. They were preparing to sell her to a trafficking ring in Eastern Europe when I finally tracked them down. But she was already gone. One of their own men had taken her, planned to sell her himself for a bigger payout. I killed him, but not before he told me that. He dropped her at a community center in Riverside, told her to stay there until someone came for her. And you've been looking for her ever since. Every second of every day. He looks at me, and there's such raw emotion in his face that I have to look away. I had men canvassing every community center, every church, every school in Chicago. But you hid her well. You kept her off any official records, didn't register her in your programs. If that social worker hadn't started asking questions, if you hadn't been forced to surface, I might never have found her. I didn't know. I know you didn't. He cuts me off gently. You were just trying to protect a scared little girl. But in doing so, you saved her life and mine. Yours? If I'd lost her. He trails off, shakes his head. She's all I have, Emma. Her mother died when she was born. It's been just the two of us for 7 years. If those men had succeeded, if they'd taken her somewhere I couldn't find her, I would have burned this entire city to ash trying to get her back. And when I finally accepted that she was gone forever, I would have put a gun in my mouth and pulled the trigger. The stark honesty of it steals my breath. So yes, he continues, you saved my life too, and I don't know how to repay that kind of debt. You don't have to repay anything, I say, finding my voice. I'm just glad she's safe, that you found each other. Unfortunately, it's not that simple. He leans back, and I see tension in every line of his body. The men who took Liliana are dead, but their families aren't. The Volkovs especially, they don't forgive, they don't forget, and they don't let debts go unpaid. They know I killed their people. They'll want revenge. What does that have to do with me? Everything. His eyes lock onto mine. Liliana talks about you constantly. Emma let me help with art. Emma makes the best grilled cheese. Emma reads me stories with all the voices. You're not just the woman who kept her safe. You're important to her, and that makes you a target. Ice floods my veins. A target. The Volkovs will research me, figure out who matters to me, who they can use for leverage. My daughter is now under 24-hour protection. She won't leave the house without armed guards. But you, he gestures at me. You go to work at a community center in one of the roughest neighborhoods in Chicago. You walk home alone at night. You live in an apartment with locks that a child could pick. How do you know? I start, then stop. Of course he knows. He probably knows everything about me by now. I can't leave you unprotected, Dante says. Not when helping my daughter has painted a target on your back. So what are you suggesting? I want you to move into my home. I stare at him. Excuse me? Temporarily, he clarifies. Until we're certain the Volkov threat is neutralized. My house has security that would make Fort Knox jealous. You'd have your own room, your own space. You'd be safe. And Liliana would be comforted knowing you're close. That's insane. Is it? He tilts his head. You're in danger because of my daughter, because of my world. I'm offering you protection until that danger passes. I have a life, Mr. Caruso. A job, an apartment, a roommate. A job at a community center that's being shut down in 6 weeks because the landlord is selling the building. He says it casually, but the words hit like a physical blow. Your roommate, Jessica Chen, is graduating in May and moving to California for a position at UCLA. Your apartment, which you can barely afford even with both incomes, will need to be vacated by the end of next month. He knows everything, every detail of my crumbling life. I'm offering you an alternative, he continues. A place to stay while you figure out your next move. I'll pay you a salary as Liliana's companion, someone to help her adjust, to provide familiar comfort during this transition. God knows I'm not equipped to handle a traumatized 7-year-old. You're her father, I say, still reeling. You're exactly what she needs. I'm a man who runs a criminal empire, he says bluntly. I kill people, Emma. I've done things that would give you nightmares. But I've never dealt with a child who wakes up screaming because she thinks she's back in that basement. I've never had to explain to my daughter why she can't go to school anymore, why strange men with guns will follow her everywhere she goes. He runs a hand through his hair, and I see the exhaustion in every line of his face. You're good with her. She trusts you. She needs that right now. She needs you. This is too much, I whisper. You're asking me to upend my entire life. I'm asking you to save it, he counters. Because like it or not, your life changed the moment you decided to protect my daughter. The Volkovs will find you eventually. They might take you, hurt you, use you to get to me. Or you can accept my protection and be safe. I want to argue. I want to tell him he's being dramatic, that I'll be fine, that I don't need some mafia boss dictating my life. But I think about the men who took Lily, who were planning to sell her to traffickers. I think about what they might do to someone they perceived as an obstacle, as collateral damage in their war with Dante Caruso. And I'm terrified. If I say yes, I say slowly, this is temporary, just until the threat is gone. Something flashes in his eyes, relief, maybe, or satisfaction. Of course. And I want my own space, my own room, my own bathroom. I pause, choosing my words carefully. I'm not one of your possessions. I would never treat you like one. His voice is firm. You'll have complete autonomy. My home is large enough that we never need to see each other if you don't want to. Somehow, I doubt that. When would I start? Today. Now. He pulls out his phone, types something quickly. Vincent will take you back to your apartment. To pack. Bring whatever you need. Everything else will be provided. Mr. Caruso. Dante. He looks up from his phone. If you're going to be living in my home, you should call me Dante. The intimacy of his first name on my tongue feels dangerous. But I suppose we're past formalities now. Dante, I say, testing it out. This feels like I'm making a deal with the devil. His smile is dark and doesn't reach his eyes. You probably are. But at least you'll be safe. 2 hours later, I'm standing in the foyer of a mansion in Lake Forest that makes the Tuscan villa from my dreams look modest. Soaring ceilings, marble floors, a grand staircase that curves up to a second floor. Everything is pristine, expensive, and completely intimidating. Miss Sinclair. A woman in her 50s with kind eyes and graying hair appears from a side hallway. I'm Mrs. Chen, the housekeeper. Mr. Caruso asked me to show you to your room. I follow her up the room. Staircase, down a hallway, lined with expensive artwork, to a door at the end. She opens it to reveal a suite that's bigger than my entire apartment. A king-sized bed with what looks like Egyptian cotton sheets. A sitting area with a couch and chairs arranged around a fireplace. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking manicured gardens. An ensuite bathroom with a soaking tub and a shower that could fit 4 people. If you need anything, just use the house phone to call down to the kitchen, Mrs. Chen says. Dinner is at 7, but I can bring you something sooner if you're hungry. This is too much. I manage. She smiles. Mr. Caruso wanted you to be comfortable. He said you'd done something very brave for his daughter. After she leaves, I sit on the edge of the bed, trying to process the surreal turn my life has taken. Yesterday, I was eating ramen in a studio apartment, worried about making rent. Today, I'm living in a mansion with a mafia boss. A soft knock at the door makes me look up. Emma? The small voice is tentative, hopeful. I open the door to find Lily standing in the hallway, wearing pink pajamas with unicorns on them. Her hair is freshly washed and braided, and she looks clean and cared for, but her eyes are still haunted. Hi, sweetheart. Papa said you were coming to stay with us. She peers past me into the room. Is your room nice? Mine has a balcony and a reading nook and everything, but I don't like it much. It's too big. I keep thinking someone could hide in the closet. My heart breaks for her. Do you want to come in? She nods and slips past me, immediately climbing onto the bed and curling up in the center like she's done this 100 times before. I sit beside her, and she scoots closer until she's leaning against me. I'm glad you're here, she says softly. I was scared Papa wouldn't find you. I'm glad I'm here too. We sit in comfortable silence for a while. Then Lily says, The bad men aren't coming back, right? Papa said they can't. But sometimes I still get scared. I wrap my arm around her small shoulders. Your papa is a very powerful man, Lily. He won't let anyone hurt you again. Or you? The question catches me off guard. Or me? I agree, hoping it's true. Good. She snuggles closer. Because you're my friend. And friends protect each other. Later that evening, after Lily has been coaxed back to her own room for a nap, I find my way to the kitchen. Mrs. Chen is preparing dinner, something that smells amazing and involves fresh herbs I can't identify. There's coffee if you'd like some, she offers, nodding to a professional-grade espresso machine that probably costs more than my car. I pour myself a cup, savoring the rich taste. Definitely not instant. How long have you worked for Mr. Caruso? I ask. 5 years, since Liliana was 2. She chops vegetables with practiced efficiency. He's a good man, Miss Sinclair. I know what people say about him, what his business is, but he's always been fair to me and mine. And the way he loves that little girl. She shakes her head. I've never seen a father more devoted. He seems very protective of her. He has to be. This life, this world, it's dangerous. But he's always tried to shield Liliana from the worst of it. Her expression darkens. What happened to her? The kidnapping, it's his worst nightmare come true. He blames himself. Of course he does. But it wasn't his fault. Sometimes evil finds you no matter how careful you are. She glances at me. I'm glad you're here. Liliana needs someone like you. Someone normal, someone kind. This house has been full of guards and tension for weeks. Your presence might help her remember what it's like to feel safe. I sip my coffee, watching her work. Mrs. Chen, how dangerous is it really? The threat from the Volkovs? She sets down her knife, her expression serious. Dangerous enough that Mr. Caruso has doubled his security. Dangerous enough that he hasn't left the property in days except to find you. The Volkovs don't forgive, and they don't forget. If they decide you're leverage. She trails off. But I understand. I'm not just living here for Lily's benefit. I'm living here because going home might be a death sentence. That night, I can't sleep. The bed is too soft, the room too quiet, the weight of my new reality too heavy. At 2 a.m., I give up and wander downstairs in my pajamas, simple cotton shorts, and a tank top I brought from my apartment. The house is dark except for subtle security lighting. I make my way to what Mrs. Chen told me was the library, hoping to find something to read. I'm browsing the shelves, an impressive collection ranging from classic literature to contemporary fiction when I hear a sound behind me. I spin around to find Dante standing in the doorway, wearing dark slacks and a white t-shirt, his hair mussed like he's been running his hands through it. Couldn't sleep? He asks. Too much to process. I gesture at the fear. Shelves. I thought a book might help. He moves into the room, and I'm suddenly very aware of how underdressed I am, how intimate this feels, the two of us alone in a darkened library in the middle of the night. Liliana was asking for you, he says. She had another nightmare. I got her settled, but she wanted to know if you were still here. If you'd really stayed. I'm here. Thank you. He moves to a side table where a crystal decanter sits, pouring himself 2 fingers of what looks like whiskey. For coming, for staying, for being what she needs right now. She's easy to care about. He takes a sip of his drink, studying me over the rim of the glass. You're not what I expected, Emma Sinclair. What did you expect? Someone harder, maybe. Someone more cynical. Someone who would see an opportunity and try to exploit it. He sets down his glass. Instead, you've asked for nothing. You took a salary only because I insisted. You're here because you genuinely care about my daughter, not because you want access to my money or my power. Is that so rare? In my world? Yes. He moves closer, and the air between us seems to thicken. Most people see me and see what I can give them. Resources, protection, opportunities. But you. He trails off, his eyes searching mine. You look at me like I'm just a man. Aren't you? I don't know anymore. I've been so many things for so long. Boss, leader, protector, enforcer that I've forgotten what it's like to be just Dante. He's close enough now that I can see the exhaustion in his eyes, the lines of strain around his mouth. But when you look at me, when you talk to me, I remember. My heart is pounding. I should go back to bed. Probably. But he doesn't move, and neither do I. We stand there in the darkened library, the space between us charged with something I don't want to name. Finally, he steps back, breaking the spell. Sleep well, Emma. And thank you for everything. I flee to my room, my skin, tingling where his gaze had touched me, and I know with absolute certainty that I've made a terrible mistake. I'm falling for Dante Caruso, and that might be the most dangerous thing I've ever done. The days blur together in a strange new rhythm. Mornings with Lily painting, reading, playing games in the garden while armed guards watch from the perimeter. Afternoons helping her with the lessons her tutor brings, because Dante won't risk sending her back to school yet. Evenings with family dinners that feel almost normal, if you ignore the security cameras and the men with guns stationed at every entrance. And the nights. The nights are when I see Dante. It starts innocently enough. We both struggle with sleep, both end up in the library or the kitchen at odd hours. We talk about everything and nothing. His childhood in Brooklyn, my years in foster care after my parents died, his dreams for Lily's future, my abandoned plans for graduate school. He's not what I expected. Yes, he's dangerous. Yes, he runs an empire built on violence and crime. But he's also brilliant, surprisingly well-read, and carries a bone-deep sadness that I recognize because I've worn it myself. 2 weeks into my stay, I'm reading to Lily before bed when Dante appears in her doorway. He does this, sometimes stands there watching us, his expression softening in ways I've never seen it soften around anyone else. 5 more minutes. Lily pleads when she sees him. Please, Papa? We're at the good part. 5 minutes, he agrees, and settles into the chair by her bed. I continue reading, hyper-aware of his presence, of his eyes on me as I do the character voices that make Lily giggle. When I finally close the book, Lily is yawning. Bedtime, tesoro, Dante says softly, moving to tuck her in. Can Emma stay until I fall asleep? He looks at me, and I nod. We sit on either side of her bed, Dante holding one of her hands while I hold the other, until her breathing evens out and she drifts off. In the hallway, Dante stops me with a gentle hand on my arm. She's getting better, he says quietly. Because of you. The nightmares are less frequent. She smiles more. She's starting to feel safe again. She's resilient. She would have gotten there without me. No. His hand is still on my arm, warm through the thin fabric of my sweater. She wouldn't have. You're her anchor, Emma. You're what makes this bearable for her. And what about you? The question slips out before I can stop it. Who's your anchor? Something shifts in his expression. His hand slides down my arm to my wrist, his thumb finding my pulse point. I know he can feel how my heart races at his touch. I'm starting to think it might be you, he says softly. Before I can respond, his phone buzzes. He glances at it, and his entire demeanor changes, jaw tightening, eyes hardening. I have to go. There's a situation that needs my attention. He's already moving toward the stairs. Stay inside. Don't go near the windows. Marco will be stationed outside your room. Dante, what's wrong? He pauses, looking back at me. The Volkovs made a move. Nothing for you to worry about. I'll handle it. Then he's gone, leaving me alone in the hallway with a racing heart and Marco appearing like a shadow to take up his post. I don't see Dante for 3 days. Mrs. Chen assures me he's fine, just busy with business matters. But I catch her worried glances, the way Vincent and the other guards speak in hushed tones when they think I can't hear. Something is wrong. Very wrong. On the 4th morning, I find Lily crying in her room. She's clutching her stuffed rabbit, the one I bought her from the community center, rocking back and forth. Sweetheart, what's wrong? I heard them talking. She sobs. The guards. They said the bad men are coming, that they're angry at Papa, that they might hurt him. I pull her into my arms, fury rising in my chest. The guards should know better than to talk where she might overhear. Your Papa is the strongest, smartest man I know. I tell her firmly. No one is going to hurt him. But what if they do? What if they take him away like they took me? Her small hands fist in my shirt. I can't lose him, Emma. I can't. You won't. I promise. It's a promise I have no right to make, but I make it anyway because this child has been through enough fear for 10 lifetimes. That afternoon, I corner Vincent in the hallway. I need to see Dante. Mr. Caruso is unavailable. I don't care. Lily is terrified, because your men can't keep their mouths shut around a 7-year-old. She needs to see her father. She needs to know he's alive and safe. Vincent studies me for a long moment, then nods. He's in his office. But Miss Sinclair, he's not in a good mood. I'll take my chances. Dante's office is on the 3rd floor, in a wing of the house I haven't explored. 2 guards flank the door, but they step aside when Vincent nods at them. Inside, the office is a disaster. Papers scattered across the desk, a laptop showing what looks like security footage, and Dante himself standing by the windows, a phone pressed to his ear. He's wearing the same clothes I saw him in 3 days ago, and he looks like he hasn't slept since. He glances up when I enter, his eyes widening briefly before he returns to his call. Do it. I don't care what it costs. Just find them. He ends the call and sets the phone down with controlled precision. You shouldn't be here. Lily heard your guards talking. She's terrified something's happened to you. He closes his eyes briefly. Damn it. What's going on, Dante? And don't tell me it's nothing. I'm not stupid. For a moment, I think he won't answer. Then he moves to his desk, pulling up something on his laptop. He turns the screen toward me. It's security footage from what looks like a restaurant. I watch as 3 men in suits enter, approach a table where 2 other men are, sitting, and open fire. The violence is sudden, brutal, and over in seconds. That's my restaurant, Dante says, his voice flat. Those 2 men worked for me. The 3 shooters work for Viktor Volkov. My stomach churns. When did this happen? 3 days ago. Since then, there have been 4 more attacks. A warehouse burned, 2 of my men killed in a drive-by. Another kidnapped and tortured before they dumped his body in the river. His hands curl into fists on the desk. This is war, Emma. Real war. And it's because I destroyed their operation, killed their men, took everything from them to get Lily back. So what do? What I always do. I hit back harder. He turns the laptop back toward himself. I have men tracking down every Volkov asset in the city. By tomorrow, they'll have nothing left. No businesses, no safe houses, no allies. And then I'll find Viktor himself and end this permanently. The cold calculation in his voice should frighten me. Instead, I feel something, else a fierce protectiveness that surprises me with its intensity. And then what? Another family comes for you? Another war starts? Probably. He looks at me, and there's such weariness in his eyes. This is my life, Emma. This is what I am. Violence and vengeance and an endless cycle of blood. I tried to keep it away from Lily, to give her something normal, but they took that from me. They showed me that there's no escaping what I am. You're not just what you do, Dante, aren't I? He moves around the desk toward me. I've killed people, Emma. Dozens of them. Some deserved it. Some were just in my way. I've ordered torture, executions, things that would make you sick if you knew the details. That's who I am. That's what you're living with. I know what you are, I say quietly. I've known since the beginning. But I also know you're a father who cries when his daughter is scared. A man who reads philosophy and poetry in the middle of the night. Someone who's gentle with a terrified little girl even when your world is burning down around you. He's close enough now that I can see the gold flecks in his dark eyes, the exhaustion etched into every line of his face. You should be afraid of me. Maybe I should be, but I'm not. Emma. My name on his lips is half warning, half plea. Your daughter needs you, I say, stepping back before I do something stupid. She needs to see that you're okay. Can you take 5 minutes to be her father instead of a mafia boss? He stares at me for a long moment, then nods slowly. Yes, I can do that. Watching Dante with Lily is a study in contrasts. In his office, he's cold, calculating, a man who orders deaths without blinking. But with his daughter, he's soft, patient, carefully attuned to her every emotion. He sits on the floor of her room, letting her climb into his lap, stroking her hair while she tells him about her day. He promises her he's safe, that nothing will happen to him, that the bad men can't hurt their family anymore. It's a lie the Volkovs are very much a threat, but it's a necessary one, and Lily believes it because she needs to. Can Emma stay for dinner? She asks, her small fingers tracing patterns on Dante's shirt. If she wants to. Lily looks at me with such hope that I can't refuse. Dinner is in Lily's room, a picnic on her floor with pizza Mrs. Chen orders in and juice boxes that Dante drinks from without complaint. Lily giggles at the sight of her powerful father struggling with the tiny straw, and for an hour, we're just 3 people sharing a meal, not a mafia boss, a desperate woman, and a traumatized child. After Lily falls asleep in her own bed this time, without nightmares, Dante walks me back to my room. Thank you, he says at my door, for making me remember what matters. She's what matters. Not the war, not the revenge. Her, I know. But the war is how I keep her safe. He leans against the doorframe, and I'm struck again by how exhausted he looks. Viktor Volkov won't stop until one of us is dead, Emma. And I won't let it be me, because Lily needs me. Which means it has to be him. When? Soon. We've tracked him to a location in Gary, Indiana. Tomorrow night we move. Fear lances through me. Dante, I'll be fine. I've done this 100 times. Then why tell me? Why not just go and tell me about it afterward? He's quiet for a long moment. Then, because if something goes wrong, I need you to know where my will is. How to access Lily's trust fund. Who to contact to ensure her safety. He reaches into his pocket and pulls out a sealed envelope. Everything's in here. Vincent knows to give you full access to my resources if I don't come back. I stare at the envelope, refusing to take it. You're coming back. Probably. But no. I push the envelope back toward him. You're coming back because Lily needs you. Because I stop, the words catching in my throat. Because you. What? His voice is soft, Dangerous. Because I need you to come back too. I whisper. The space between us crackles with tension. Dante's hand comes up to cup my face, his thumb brushing my cheekbone with devastating gentleness. Emma, he breathes. If I kiss you right now, there's no going back. You understand that? I should say no. I should step away, remind him this is temporary, that I'm just here to help with Lily, that getting involved with him is the worst possible idea. Instead, I rise up on my toes and close the distance between us. His lips are softer than I expected, his kiss gentle despite the barely leashed violence I know he's capable of. He kisses me like I'm precious, like I'm something to be savored rather than taken. And when he finally pulls back, we're both breathing hard. That was a mistake, he says, but he doesn't let me go. Probably. You should forget this happened. Forget about me. When the Volkov situation is resolved, you should leave, go back to your life, find someone normal and safe. Is that what you want? What I want doesn't matter. What's best for you is for me to decide. I pull back, needing space to think. Dante, I know what I'm getting into. I'm not naive about your world, about the danger. But I'm also not going to pretend I don't feel this, whatever this is between us. It's insanity, he says roughly. I'm 15 years older than you. I kill people for a living. I have a daughter who needs stability, not another person to lose when things go bad. This can't work, Emma. It can't. Then why did you kiss me? He doesn't have an answer for that. The next evening, Dante leaves for Gary, Indiana, with a dozen of his best men. I watch from Lily's window as the convoy of black SUVs disappears down the long driveway, my heart in my throat. He'll be okay, Lily says, taking my hand. Papa always comes home. I wish I had her faith. The hours crawl by. I try to distract us. With games, with a movie, with anything that will keep my mind off what Dante is doing, who he's killing, whether he's safe. At 11 p.m., Marco appears in the doorway. Miss Sinclair, you need to come with me. Now. Ice floods my veins. What's wrong? Is it Dante? Mr. Caruso is fine. But we have a situation. Victor Volkov isn't in Indiana. The warehouse was a trap. They were waiting for Mr. Caruso to leave the house undefended. Understanding crashes over me. He's coming here. He's already here. We have men on the perimeter, but he brought an army. We need to get you and Liliana to the safe room. The safe room turns out to be a reinforced bunker beneath the house, accessed through a hidden panel in Dante's office. Marco ushers us inside, and I see it stocked with supplies, has its own ventilation system, and walls thick enough to withstand a bomb. How long do we stay here? I ask. Until Mr. Caruso arrives, or until I come back for you. He hands me a gun, which I stare at, like it might bite. Do you know how to use this? No. Safety's here. Point and shoot if anyone comes through that door who isn't me or Mr. Caruso. Aim for center mass. He's already moving back toward the entrance. Don't open this door for anyone else. I don't care what they say, what they threaten. You understand? I nod, clutching the gun with shaking hands. The door closes with a heavy thunk, and we're alone in the dim emergency lighting. Lily crawls into my lap, and I wrap my arms around her, the gun awkward in my grip. Above us, I hear sounds muffled, shouting. What might be gunfire? Something heavy crashing. Emma? Lily's voice is small, terrified. What's happening? Your papa's men are protecting us. We're safe down here. I'm scared. Me too, sweetheart. But we're going to be okay. I don't know if I believe it. Time loses meaning in the safe room. It could be minutes or hours when I hear it footsteps on the stairs. Someone trying the door handle. Emma? Emma, it's Vincent. You need to open the door. Relief floods through me, but I remember Marco's warning. How do I know it's really you? Because I'm telling you, Dante is upstairs and he's hurt. He needs to see Liliana before. Vincent's voice breaks. Please, Emma. Open the door. My heart stops. Dante is hurt, possibly dying, and he wants to see his daughter. I start to move toward the door, but something makes me pause. Vincent's voice sounds wrong, too strained, too desperate, and Marco's warning echoes in my mind. Don't open this door for anyone else. What's Dante's middle name? I call out. Silence. Then, I don't know. Emma, please, there's no time. If you're really Vincent, you'd know. You've worked for him for years. More silence. Then a different voice, accented, Cold. Smart girl. Dante chose well. Viktor Volkov. He's not really hurt, is he? I keep my voice steady despite the terror coursing through me. Not yet. But he will be when we tell him we have his daughter. Open the door, Emma. Make this easy on everyone. No. You think that door will protect you forever? We have time. Dante's men are dead or dying. It's just you, the child, and us. Eventually, you'll run out of air, or water, or hope. Open the door now, and I'll make it quick. I look down at Lily, who's pressed against me, trembling. I think about Dante, probably racing back here right now, desperate to reach us. I think about the gun in my hand and Marco's instructions. We're not opening the door, I call back, and Dante is coming. When he gets here, you're going to wish you'd left while you could. A harsh laugh. Brave words from a woman hiding in a hole. But fine, we'll wait. And when we finally get through that door, I'll make sure you watch while I hurt the little girl. Then I'll make her watch while I hurt you. And then I'll kill you both and leave your bodies for Dante to find. The threat is made more terrifying by how calmly he delivers it. Lily whimpers. And I press my hand over her ear, pulling her closer. The gun feels heavy in my other hand, and I wonder if I could actually pull the trigger if it came to that. Could I take a life to save Lily's? Yes, I realize. Without hesitation. More sounds from above, shouting now. Definitely gunfire. Closer than before. Someone screams. Something explodes with a boom that makes the floor shake. Then silence. Terrible, complete silence. I count my heartbeats. 100, 200, 500. Then footsteps on the stairs, rapid and heavy. Emma. Dante's voice, raw and desperate. Emma, are you in there? How do I know it's you? I call back, even as relief makes me dizzy. Because I'm terrified I'm too late. Because I love my daughter more than my own life. Because, his voice breaks. Because I kissed you last night, and I've been thinking about it ever since. I'm moving before I finish processing, fumbling with the lock, wrenching the door open. Dante stands on the other side, blood splattered. Across his shirt and face, a gun in one hand, his chest heaving. Our eyes meet, and the relief in his expression nearly breaks me. Papa! Lily launches herself at him, and he catches her, pulling her tight against him despite his obvious injuries. I've got you, Tesoro. I've got you. You're safe now. Over her head, his eyes find mine again. Are you hurt? I shake my head, not trusting my voice. Volkov? Dead. His men too. It's over. He's still holding Lily, but he reaches out with his free hand, pulling me close until we're a tangle of 3. It's finally over. The aftermath is controlled chaos. EMTs arrive to treat the wounded. Crime scene cleaners appear to handle the bodies. There are 8 of them scattered around the house. Police don't come, because of course they don't. Men like Dante don't call the police. Mrs. Chen fusses over all of us, bringing warm blankets and hot chocolate despite the violence that just occurred in her workplace. She's seen this before, I realize. This is just another day in Dante's world. A doctor checks me and Lily thoroughly, confirms we're physically unharmed. Lily finally falls asleep around 4 a.m., curled up in her bed with both of us sitting beside her. I should check on the men, Dante says quietly, but he doesn't move. They'll manage without you for a few hours. He looks at me, and there's something raw in his expression. I almost lost you tonight. Both of you. But you didn't. This time. But there will always be a next time, Emma. Another enemy, another threat, another war. This is my life. This is what loving me means: constant danger, violence always lurking around the corner, nights like tonight over and over again. Are you trying to push me away? I'm trying to be honest about what you'd be signing up for. I stand, moving to the window. Outside, the sky is starting to lighten, dawn painting the horizon in shades of pink and gold. I grew up in foster care, Dante. I bounced between 12 different homes in 8 years. Some were fine, some were terrible, none were permanent. I learned early that safety is an illusion, that the people who promise to protect you usually can't, that love is temporary at best. I turned to face him. But you know what I learned tonight? I learned that you came back. When Viktor Volkov had us trapped, when he was trying to break down that door, you came back. You fought through an army to reach us. That's not nothing. It's my job. She's my daughter. And what about me? I move closer, my heart pounding. Was saving me just part of the job too? He stands, moving toward me with predatory grace despite his injuries. You know it wasn't. Then say it. Tell me what this is, what I am to you. He cups my face in his hands, and I can see every emotion he's trying to hide. You're everything I shouldn't want and the only thing I can't stop thinking about. Your safety and danger all at once. You're the woman who saved my daughter and somehow saved me too. His thumb brushes my lower lip. You're mine, Emma. If you'll have me, with all my darkness and violence and blood-soaked legacy, you're mine. I'm yours, I whisper. This kiss is different from the first. It's hungry, desperate, claiming. His hands slide into my hair while mine grip his shirt, pulling him closer despite the blood and sweat and violence that clings to him. When we finally break apart, we're both breathing hard. This is insane, he says against my lips. You should run. I don't want to run. I want to stay. With you, with Lily, with all of this. You're 26 years old. You should be in graduate school, planning a normal future, not playing house with a mafia boss and his traumatized daughter. Maybe I don't want normal. Maybe I want this. I pull back to look him in the eye. I want you, Dante. All of you. The good, the bad, the dangerous. I'm not naive about what I'm choosing. But I'm choosing it. Anyway, he searches my face like he's looking for doubt, for hesitation. Whatever he sees makes something in him break free. Then you're stuck with me, he says roughly. Because I'm not letting you go. Not now. Not ever. 6 months later, I stand in Lily's room, helping her pack for her first day back at school. Dante fought against it, wanted to keep her home indefinitely, but Lily needs normalcy. She needs friends and routines and a life beyond these walls. Are you sure about this? Dante asks from the doorway. It's the 5th time he's asked this morning. Papa, I'm ready, Lily says with the patience of someone who's had this conversation many times. Emma will be there. And Marco. And you said the new security at the school is the best in the city. It is, I confirm, smoothing down her uniform. And I'll be volunteering in her classroom every day. She'll never be out of sight. Dante doesn't look convinced, but he nods. Okay. But if anything feels wrong, if you're scared, for even a second, I tell Marco immediately. I know, Papa. Lily throws her arms around him. I love you. I love you too, Tesoro. More than anything. He meets my eyes over her head, and the look he gives me is full of heat and promise. Tonight, after Lily goes to bed, we'll have the house to ourselves. It's a rare occurrence and one we've learned to treasure. The past 6 months have been an adjustment. Learning to live in Dante's world, understanding the intricacies of his business, accepting that violence is sometimes necessary to maintain peace. But I've also discovered unexpected benefits, the community work his organization funds, the protection they provide to vulnerable neighborhoods, the complex code of honor that governs their actions. It's not black and white. Nothing in life is. But I've made my peace with the gray. The drive to school is uneventful. Lily chatters about her new teacher, the friends she hopes to see, whether she'll like the cafeteria food. She's so much lighter now. So much more like a normal 7-year-old. She still has nightmares sometimes. She still panics when men she doesn't know get too close. But she's healing, slowly but surely. At the school entrance, Lily hugs me tight. Thank you for staying, she whispers. For choosing us. My throat tightens. Thank you for letting me. That evening, I find Dante in his office, reviewing reports. He looks up when I enter, his expression softening. She made it through the day? With flying colors. She's already talking about tomorrow. Good. He sets aside his papers and pulls me into his lap. I was thinking. About making this official. He reaches into his desk drawer and pulls out a small velvet box. My heart stops. I know it's fast, he says, opening the box to reveal a stunning diamond ring. I know we've only been together 6 months. But Emma, I've wasted too much of my life waiting for the right time, the right circumstances, and I know with absolute certainty that you're who I want beside me. For Lily, yes, but also for me. You make me better. You make me remember there's more to life than business and revenge and maintaining power. Tears stream down my face. Dante, marry me, Emma. Be my wife, Lily's mother, my partner in this messy, dangerous, beautiful life. I can't promise you safety or normalcy or an easy road, But I can promise you'll never be alone again. That you'll never want for anything. That I will love you and protect you and stand beside you for whatever time we're given. It's the easiest decision I've ever made. Yes. He slides the ring onto my finger, and when he kisses me, it tastes like promise and hope and a future I never let myself imagine. 1 year later, we stand in the gardens of Dante's estate, surrounded by friends and family as we exchange vows. Lily stands beside me in a white dress, beaming as she serves as my maid of honor. I promise to love you. Through the chaos, I say, holding Dante's hands. Through the danger and the fear and the impossible choices. I promise to stand beside you, to challenge you when you're wrong, to support you when you're right, and to never let you forget what matters most. I promise to protect you, Dante says, his voice rough with emotion, to cherish you, to honor the sacrifice you've made in choosing this life with me. I promise to be worthy of your love, of your trust, of your fierce, beautiful heart. When we kiss as husband and wife, Lily cheers, and the guards stationed around the perimeter smile despite their orders to remain stoic. It's not a fairy tale. There are still threats, still violence, still moments when I wonder if I've made the right choice. But when I look at Dante, at Lily, at the life we're building together, I know I wouldn't change a thing. This is my family now. This is my home. And I would fight heaven and hell to protect it. The community center in Riverside isn't what it used to be. Thanks to a generous anonymous donation courtesy of my husband, it's been completely renovated. New equipment, fresh paint, a staff that includes counselors and tutors and mentors for the kids who need them most. I run it now, splitting my time between administration and hands-on work with the children. Dante worried initially about my safety, but the neighborhood knows who I am, whose protection I carry. No one would dare touch me. Lily is 10 now, thriving in school, still shadowed by security but learning to live with it as normal. She wants a sibling, has been campaigning hard for a baby brother or sister. She might get her wish soon. I haven't told Dante yet, haven't confirmed what the 3 positive pregnancy tests suggest. But tonight, when we're alone, I'll share the news. I'm standing in the center's art room, cleaning up after the day's session, when I feel arms wrap around me from behind. Mrs. Caruso, Dante murmurs against my neck. You're supposed to have security when you're here alone. Marco is right outside. Not close enough. He turns me in his arms, and I see the familiar concern in his eyes. I worry about you. I know, but I'm safe, Dante. I'm always safe. He studies my face, then smiles slowly. You have news. How do you? I know you, Emma. Every expression, every tell. What is it? I take his hand and place it on my still flat stomach. I'm pregnant. For a moment, he just stares at me. Then joy breaks across his face like sunrise, and he lifts me up, spinning me around despite my protests. We're having a baby, he says, wonder in his voice. Lily is going to lose her mind. We should tell her together, tonight. We'll tell her tonight. He sets me down but doesn't let go. Thank you, Emma, for everything. For Lily, for me, for this life we've built. Thank you for finding me, I say softly. For seeing me, for choosing me, for making me part of your world. Our world, he corrects. It's ours now. And it is. This messy, dangerous, beautiful world where love exists alongside violence, where family is forged in fire, where a waitress and a mafia boss somehow found each other and built something real. It's not perfect. It's not safe. It's not what anyone would call normal, but it's ours, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. Thank you so much for watching until the end. If you loved this story, check out the other videos on your screen now. I think you'll really enjoy them. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. See you in the next story.